My name is Anthony and welcome to the fourth video on the AntSand service. And this video, I want to get right into how do you bring traffic onto your website? How do you bring in new customers, and how do you bring in lots of leads and eventually convert them into potential customers and make a lot of money, which is everybody's ideal dream and fantasy. But let's get real out here. Let's get very real in here. Most websites do not even sell. Most websites do not even have the proper engagement formula, do not even have the proper modality in which they want to communicate the sequence of the pain point, the attention, the problem definition, your solution, your proof and credibility, your update, how often are you updating your website, the recency and the proximity. Most websites don't even have a proper format. And it's not about using a format, it's really understanding why that format works and how do you communicate that. The reason where most websites go wrong in terms of bringing traffic is, first, you don't even know who your target audience is. Or the customers that have come to your website are not necessarily perfect or targeted audience. But in this video, I really want to, break the myth and tell you the real truth. Your website, in the beginning, should be for your existing customers. It's not for new customers, it's for existing customers. If your existing customers are not viewing your site regularly, then new customers are not going to find it engaging either ways. And even before even having existing customers use your website, the real question is, are you viewing your own website on a regular basis? If the content and the engagement is just absolutely mediocre on your own website, leave alone potential customers coming onto your site, you should be a first customer on your website, constantly looking at how can you improve it, how can you make it better, whether it's engagement. And if you're not doing that as a business owner on your own website, leave alone everybody else who would come to your site and be like, oh, you know what, we find this website engaging. So it's really very straightforward. Are you constantly engaged with the content on your website? Are your existing customers like the content on your website? And then once you know that the information on your website is satisfying you and your existing customers, then it's all about marketing your website through mail, through direct mail, through email, through social media, through paid advertisements, to pay-per-click advertisements. And then you can just have a strong marketing campaign, cold calling, referral marketing. And there's so many formats and different avenues in which you can market your website. So getting in leads is not really an issue. If you just really read any marketing book on how to get leads, content marketing, social media marketing, as I just mentioned, getting leads onto your website is not a big issue. The real question is, are you getting targeted leads? And most importantly, are you getting the quality of leads such that when they come to your website, whether the content is engaging, whether it feels trustworthy, whether it feels like they want to do business with you. So really, bringing leads onto your website, you can do through majority of the ways, and the more offline you do it, the better it is. A lot of people think you got to do it always online, like content marketing, social media. I want all the traffic to come online. That's really not the effective way to build leads. The most realistic way to build leads is giving a business card to someone and then them coming online and checking your website out. It's more like an offline way for them to check your website online. For me, I generally feel that's the most effective way of building up that initial traffic, because those are high quality leads. They want to know more about your business. They want to connect with you. They want to build up their network. You want to build up their. It's a symbiotic relationship when you do things online and they want to check you. When you did things offline I mean outside the computer world, and then they want to check you online. So direct mail is a great example as well, where you're communicating with someone through letters, like physical letters, and then eventually they find it engaging and exciting, then they might want to check you out online. But marketing is not an issue. If you really have a budget and you have an idea of where and how you want to get your traffic, you can spend money in advertisements, as I said, newspaper advertisements, direct mail marketing, content marketing, social media marketing, referral marketing, and eventually people will come to your website. But if your website is not engaging enough, it does not have, as I mentioned in the previous video, not engaging enough, it doesn't have a proper sequence of steps in which you take your readers through, and you don't even have a purpose, you don't have an attention-grabbing headline, it does not matter whether you bring in quality leads, your website is not doing the conversion, it's not doing the selling for you. So that's the reason why I wanted to emphasize on this video is that your website you should be a first customer on your website. If you're not the first customer on your website, then you want to make sure the website is engaging. Make sure it's got content that you want to read. Maybe you can have a blog article out there. Maybe you want to write. You can do some social media marketing. Maybe you can constantly improve the sequence of that engagement formula. But you want to be the customer of your own website. Then make sure your existing customers are viewing your website. Make sure it's usable for them. Make sure they have a great experience looking at your website. Then think of new customers to come on your website and have a good feel of it. Because if your existing customers are not satisfied, new customers are not going to be satisfied. Let's face it. Because existing customers are using you because they like you, they trust you, they have a relationship with you. And now all of a sudden, you want someone who does not even really know you, and you believe that your website should suddenly sell without having that ability of building trust and engagement. Not going to happen. So if you want to bring leads to your website, you can do all the marketing on the planet. You can do all the advertisements on the planet. But if your website does not have the ingredients of what I mentioned in the second and third video, which is salesmanship and engagement, and if you're not satisfied looking at your website on a regular basis, there is no point spending money on any of these things, because your website is not going to convert, it's not going to sell. In order for your website to really jump through the next loop, build up that engagement, build up the quality leads, make sure you have content that builds up engagement and salesmanship. Make sure you, as a business owner, are constantly looking at your website, feeling impressed by it. Make sure your existing customers are looking at it. I'm repeating myself out here because this is important. A lot of times people say, why no one is coming to my website? There's no traffic on my website. It's not working. Well, when was the last time that you see your own website? Why should I see my website? It's not for me. Well, if you're not looking at your own website, then why should someone else look at your website? It's straightforward. If your existing customers are not looking at your website, why should new customers look at your website? If your website is not engaging for you, then who else will find it engaging? If your existing customers do not find value in what's there online, why would a new customer find anything valuable online? Straightforward equations. Very simple. If you want your website to do the selling for you, make sure the content is engaging. Make sure it's doing the selling. And getting traffic, as I mentioned, it can be a little difficult, but there are methods to do it. It's called marketing, it's called advertisements. And you can read any book on it, you can read any online article on it, and there's a lot of information on how to bring in that quality leads. But you don't want to lose those quality leads. And that's the reason why I mentioned in this video that your first customer is yourself. The second customers are your existing customers. And the third customers are potential customers. And if you understand this concept, you're better off making a website that is more engaging, more appealing, communicates better, has a salesmanship. So when you bring in new leads through different modalities in which your marketing campaign, you're investing in marketing for, your website is now having that effect of engagement, and eventually Google would rank you, eventually search engine would rank you eventually, because they find value on your site. People are staying on your site for a longer time, and the longer they stay on your site, there are good chances that they find your site engaging and it's relevant to what they were searching. It's just a simple equation. If I'm looking for something and it resonates with what I want, I'm going to stay longer. If it doesn't resonate with what I want, I'm going to go to the next website. Your job is to make sure that you capture them, and the more you're able to capture them, Google is sensing it. All search engines are constantly monitoring engagement, and they'll eventually boost your rankings on the search engines for the relevant keyword. but it's your job to make sure that you have an engaging website and you find it engaging as a business owner. Your potential customers find it engaging. Thank you.